Why is the menu so thought-provoking? It could be how the movie tackles the high-end restaurant industry. The movie criticizes both the consumer of the high-end restaurant and the staff that work for the high-end restaurant. The main antagonist of the movie, the head chef, plans to kill everyone eating at the restaurant by the end of the meal, and he does not keep this a secret, terrifying the audience by portraying the people eating at the restaurant as deer surrounded by hungry wolves. As the plot of the movie plays out, the victims slowly understand what is happening to them. The menu encapsulates this by using the film technique of close-ups of the reason why the menu is so thought-provoking, highlighting the reaction of the assortment of people present at the restaurant that day. The Menu is a movie made under the horror comedy genre and was released in 2022. The movie was directed by Mark Malloy and featured actors such as Anna Taylor-Joy, Ralph Fiennes, and Nicholas Hoult. The movie begins with wealthy people about to go to an expensive and exclusive restaurant. One of the characters hired prostitutes to go along with him, and this caused a problem for the restaurant because the menu was carefully designed for each guest, and the prostitute was not planned. All of the guests that were invited to the restaurant were chosen because they symbolize something wrong with the food industry. From snobby rich people, restaurant reviewers, famous actors, and scummy businessmen, all of those personalities of guests would never be friends in normal circumstances. But with this traumatic experience, the head chef had planned, they become one. The consumers throw away their old sinful traits, realizing their faults and accepting their fate. Traumatic events bring people together, but at the same time muddles down their personalities. As the movie progresses, consumers move through the 5 stages of grief. The 5 stages of grief being denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance to get to the point of unity. The head chef planned at his final meal, and all the guests played an important. The first example of the movie's excellent use of close-ups was in the scene where guests realized what was going on and they tried to escape. Close-ups were used in the scene 3 times. The first being the director flashing through the guests' distressed faces. The close-up here shows us the guest stages of grief. Some of the guests are scared and are trying to figure out how to escape the death trap. The director showed us that some of the characters were already at the stage of depression, but the younger men were still in the stage of denial. They still had hope of escaping, but they were in denial. One of the men just spontaneously gets up and picks up his chair and tries to break the window. This brings us to the second close-up in the scene.
The door is guarded, but it could be a play. Has anybody seen down that hallway?
Hey guys, we gotta do something, man. We can't be cowards. This worked in a movie that did called The Assault. When they bring the knives and force, we just storm the kitchen, okay?
You think we have better knife skills than them?
What other choice do we have?
I don't fucking know, man.
So what then? We
fuck it. I'm gonna break.
We
fuck it. I'm gonna break this fucking window. Fuck.
Please let me help you back to your table.
This close-up is when one of the guests takes their chair and tries to aim the large panel window. After failing, the camera has a close-up on his face and his facial expression showing him being scared. The movie shows that he is scared because of the consequences of his action. He doesn't know if he was going to get punished or not. The close-up here shows us that the guest who tried to escape is accepting his fate, and he is no longer in the stage of denial. He is in the third close-up in the scene is after the head chef claps. The movie uses a close-up on one of the guests. It shows that he is generally scared and he flinches as soon as the clap happens. The close-up shows that the stage of acceptance is slowly creeping up on the rest of the cast, and the guests are still in the stage of denial at this point of the movie, but they are slowly accepting the fate that those in denial still have some pride and their own personalities in them. The ones that jink towards acceptance are more muted than previously were. For example, the boys in the beginning of the scene were teaming up for the first time to try to escape. They were loud, but in the end, they submitted. You see this clearly in the close-ups of the guests, all of them with the same facial expression, and it's all expressing fear.
Sorry, man.
There's a saying. Sometimes all you need is a good cup of tea.
The second example of the movie's superb use of close-up shots was when one of the guests, Margot, for help came, and this gave everyone hope that they might escape. They were all happy until they realized the help wasn't there to help them, but actually worked for the restaurant. To use close-ups to show the emotions of the characters as the scene happened, the reactions to how they thought their lives were saved, being crushed when they find out that it was a trick the whole time.
No. Hey, don't have nothing to do with it. No.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you. Good job. So in a kitchen, we all work together and nothing works at all. We work as a team. You, Margot from Nebraska. You've betrayed our sacred bond of trust, and you've shown your craft to be careless. I was wrong. You're an eater. You're a taker. Like all the rest.
When the Coast Guard lit the cupcake, the camera zoomed in into all the guests' faces. All of them were completely bamboozled, and the restaurant played a jest to all the guests. When the Coast Guard came to the restaurant, all the stages of grief were broken, and the guests were celebrating their escape. But as soon as they realized that the Coast Guard worked for the restaurant, they either moved to the stage of depression or acceptance. With the close-ups, you can tell what stage a guest is in. For example, Margot goes from denial to depression and slowly moves toward acceptance. You can see that with her facial expression given by the close-up. And the old rich lady is another example. She looks completely dead inside and completely defeated. This is terrifying because the head chef had planned everything out to try to stop them from escaping. He didn't directly punish them, but he did so psychologically. This close-up helped us see the slow, methodical process that the restaurant crew set up for the guests as their plan unfolds. The people of the restaurant, originally all very different and filled with their own problems, become bonded together from their egotistical beginnings to quiet, reformed, and powerless individuals. This tells us that no matter how invincible you think you are, it can all be shattered in merely one evening. No longer are the guests loud, obnoxious, filled with pride. They are now hollowed-out collective people. The third example of close-up perfecting the movie was when the chef sets the restaurant on fire and the characters are happy to be burned alive. They all accept their fate and don't try to escape at all as they get burned alive.
We must be cleansed, made clean, like martyrs or heretics. We can be subsumed and made anew.
Thank you.
I love you all.
Close-ups were used here to show how all the characters inside the restaurant act in a somewhat robotic way. Most of them are expressionless, but those who are still showing any emotions besides content are thankful for what they were given. They all are on the same stage of grief, which is acceptance. The restaurant succeeded in cleansing the guests of their corruption to become pure. The scene was perfected by close-ups as it showed the viewer how everyone was feeling good. A close-up was given to the blonde girl right here, who was being burned alive with hot chocolate flowing all over her. A normal person would have tried to escape, but she is no longer normal. She has been transformed by the restaurant into the collective. Everyone that was in that restaurant became one, the same. The head chef had cooked up the final meal with recycled ingredients. The close-ups in the menu elevate the movie and are a testament to how film techniques can enhance a movie to a whole nother level. The use of these close-ups allowed the audience to understand the message of the director. Without them, the movie would have been dull and boring to watch.